A logo, ACB in print and braille. American Council of the Blind. Together for a Bright Future. 64th Annual National Conference and Convention. ACB Banquet. Thursday, July 10th, 2025.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I want to thank Peter and Frank for entertaining us for our I happen to know both of those gentlemen. They are very talented, and we thank them for their sharing their skills with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I want to welcome you to the 2025 ACB Banquet. But before we go any further, many of you probably already have heard that today we lost a dear member of ours, Denise Colley. Denise was a dedicated ACB member and worker and a dear friend to many of us. So in honor of her, I ask for us to have a moment of silence in memory of Denise Colley. Thank you, everybody. So, welcome to the 2025 ACB Banquet. Now, despite the sadness, we're here to relax and kick back our heels, relax a little bit, because I'm sure over the past month or so, you've been busy with elections, seminars, workshops, going from place to place, the exhibit hall. So tonight is our time just to sit back and relax and enjoy the accomplishments and the information that we've received. So I want to first start by welcoming you to Texas. You're in Texas. You know, Texans are very proud people, and if you don't believe it, just ask us. We'll tell you. Texas is a big state, and I know other states will probably say they're bigger, but we do everything big in Texas. We even have big mosquitoes. They'll pack you off. They'll pack you up. You better watch out for those. You know, we sometimes we call them skeeters, and those skeeters got so big, we had to have some space cowboys to come and rescue them. But anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about Texas because I'm a proud Texan. But before we go any further, I wanted to introduce those who are at the head table up here. And this is in no particular order, but everybody is present. We have our president, Deb Cook-Lewis. We have Michael and Peggy Garrett. And some of you may know this gentleman, David Trott, and his lovely wife, Rhonda Trott. And our outgoing board member, Ray Campbell. and his lovely wife, Karen Campbell. Dave Williams, our keynote speaker. Janet Dickelman. And last but certainly not least, our executive director, Scott Thornhill. So as you're being served, be sure to remember Denise in your musings, and we'll be back in a few minutes to begin our program.
All right, guys, I hope everybody's enjoying their dinner. All right, yeah. And while you're enjoying, maybe at this point, your dessert, I don't know, I'm a fast eater, probably doesn't shock anyone, but as you're hopefully getting your dessert and settling in just a little bit, I have one quick, or some quick information I want to share, and then Michael will get back up here as our MC for the evening. But we have a table. I'm not sure exactly where it is. That is one of the issues with not being able to. Right out in front of me. Well, that made it convenient. Okay, well, that's good. So at a table right out in front of me we have table 5. Thank you. Leave it to Janet to tell me it's table 5. Okay, whatever. I want to welcome and acknowledge we have with us this evening, and we are so thankful for this partnership and truly hope that it continues for many years to come. We have with us this evening the president of the Blinded Veterans Association, Paul Mims. Please welcome him. We also have with us BVA's, and look, he and I can compare notes, but their new executive director, Vernon Humphrey, is with us. And we also have from BVA, Teresa Galgano, who is their convention coordinator, amongst many other things. And we are very, very thankful for BVA's partnership, for the fact that we're working together on our conventions. We hope that they have just had an incredible week as well. I've attended a couple of things with them, and I know they're members. And you know what, guys? What we've had is people attending sessions from both conventions because they've either registered for both or they're members of both organizations. And so I think that's great. So thank you. Yes. Thank you to BVA for that. We also have at that same table, as you heard from earlier today, Jessica Rafuse from Microsoft. And Clint Covington from Microsoft as well, as with Jessica. And I don't know about you, but I sure hope you enjoyed their time this afternoon. I found it to be very inspiring. Yeah, it wasn't it great? It was great. I never want to stop when people are applauding because anyway, okay. I love that. That's great, guys. But it was really informative and it was inspiring and it really gave us a glimpse into how a company like Microsoft is viewing not only the past, but viewing the future. So thank you for sharing that with us. Also at the same table, I would be remiss if I did not point out that we also have Jolynn Bailey Page, our Associate Director of Development, as well as Dan and Leslie Spoon at the same table as well. Dan is Director of Operations. And Leslie, who wears about 7 different hats. So that's, and guys, it's no mistake that we put our development folks with the Microsoft folks. It's not a mistake, but Jessica's like, yes, Scott, I know. But we're so glad to have these partners, and whether it's BVA as an organization to partner with or as a corporation like Microsoft, we're looking forward to the future and what can happen. So thank you all for being with us, and guys, enjoy your dessert, and Mike will be right up, so thank you.
All right, everybody. We're going to continue with our program while you finish up your dessert. Hopefully, you've enjoyed your dinner and now dessert. So, I was thinking, you guys made one mistake by putting the microphone in the hands of a Baptist preacher. So, I don't know whether to preach a sermon or pass the plate. We could certainly use the money, okay? So anyway, as we proceed with tonight's festivities, we want to start out by handing out some awards to some very deserving people. And so the first set of awards we want to acknowledge from our awards committee, two wonderful ladies, Ms. Connie Sims from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Carrie Muth from Coos Bay, Oregon.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So, I don't have Carrie with me tonight. Carrie is my co-chair, but I brought Natalie Couch up with me to help present. So, she is from Louisville, Kentucky. Can't hear me? Is that better? All right, so Carrie is here, but we decided to bring one of our committee members up to help present tonight. So I have Natalie Couch with me, one of our committee members is going to help him out. So I also want to recognize our other committee members quick. We have Peter Altschall, we have Ann Brash, Jean Mann, Sharon Loveling, Janet Dickelman. So we do have a lot of awards, and we're able to do everyone. Just spell. So we are going to start with the Affiliate Award. Natalie.
All right, so for the Affiliate Growth Award, they have gained 254 members this year, and I'm going to let Connie give the percentages.
The percentage is 51.8%. So for that affiliate, it goes to Florida. So if Sheila Young and Mark Lear would like to come up and say a few words, we could. Okay. So I will let you guys have a few words, but we do not have the plaques, but we will mail it to you guys.
Good. Holy cow. That's all I can say is, wow, Florida. We work hard to keep our members, but I don't think, Sally can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever gotten this award, so thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Florida's a good state, so we keep it going.
And Mark is their treasurer, so. Try to get this back in. All right. So we are going to start with the Margin Beeman Award. This individual demonstrates diplomacy, grace with everything that they take on as a volunteer. They volunteer on several committees, putting in long hours, making sure members are well informed and connected. They make sure that pictures are available for the ACB auctions. They always have time to listen when you call or email, either to chat or need help solving a problem. Interstate Auction has benefited from them being a major part from beginning that now has grown to 9 affiliates. They are known for their famous fudge on all the auctions, to name a few of the ACB committees, to the honor of having this individual serve on auction, media, support, ACB Strong, Get Up and Get Moving, and convention. While doing their duties on the national level, they serve as president to their affiliate. Congratulations to Cecily Laney Nipper on the Marjorie G. Beeman Award. Cecily, please come up.
Can I have a mic for a second? Hey, Connie, Janet, So, this is Janet, and being a very selfless volunteer, Cecily is not here this evening at the banquet because she knew that someone else really needed to be here, and so even though we don't give away banquet tickets, she was able to give her place up for tonight, and I tried to talk her into not doing it, but it was too late, so I couldn't tell her about the award. So she is not here. Now, I don't know if Cecily Sr. would like to come up here and say a couple words in...
On behalf of Cecily Laney Nipper, I'll gladly tell her about this. She'll be thrilled. And thank you so much for all the support you are to her. And please continue working for your affiliate and ACB. And we love this organization. Thank you.
All right, so our next award is going to be the Robert S. Bray Award. And the winner of this award does a lot in educating people on technology. This individual is integral in the ACB community. This individual is a very patient person. She does a lot of hosting. The individual is also very patient and very kind, and this individual is on the ACB Presents Morning Crew, and she records the community schedules every week for the phone system. So congratulations to Chanel Allen on the Robert S. Bray Award.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I'm supposed to say something, but thank you. I'm very honored. Wow.
All right, we couldn't hear you, Chanel, so if you want to say anything.
Wow, thank you. I'm very honored. I don't know what to say, but thank you very, very much. I enjoy serving community, and thank you.
All right, our next one is the James R. Olson Award. For over 50 years, this individual has worked with guide dog handlers and blindness community in general to ensure that everyone travels safely. They obtained their master's degree in orientation and mobility, having this degree and innovation in teaching. They created a partial oscillation program for teaching partially sighted handlers how to learn to use their vision to travel with a dog, rather than their vision against the dog. As part of their advocacy work, they continue to work with traffic engineers throughout the United States, teaching them about safety concerns for blind travelers. They were responsible for initiating the first study and survey of accessible pedestrian signals for people who are blind. Their innovations continues to make travel safer in ways for blind and low vision travelers for the dedication and service they provide. We honor Lucas Frank, who is the James R. Olson Distinguished Service Award. Lucas, would you like to come up, please?
And the plaque reads, James R. Olson Distinguished Service Award presented to Lucas Frank, recognizing over 50 years of service making traveling safer for blind and low vision guide dog and cane users. Dallas, Texas, July 10th, 2025.
Thank you all so very much. It means so much coming from you for all the work that we've done together. I didn't do it. So I stand on the shoulders of giants and hold hands with others. Janet Barlow, BZ Benson, the ACB Environmental Access Committee. Thank you all so much for all your hard work, your advocacy in your communities. You've made it better, the country better, and we're on our way to making the world better. Thank you all so very much.
All right. The next one is the George Card Award. This individual has dedicated 40 years of their life to work with and for people who are blind and low vision. Their work has made a real difference in helping improve quality of life while providing leadership and being a positive role model while mentoring several members. This person also is always working to make sure electronic and information technology is accessible. Spends countless hours making sure built environment and transportation is accessible and available. This individual served 18 years on the ACB Board of Directors, to mention a few committees honored to have this individual: our Transportation, Voting Task Force, PEAK, ADP, was appointed by the ACB president to serve on the ANSI A117.1 committee. The latter part of their career was chief of the section of 508, Office of the Department of Veterans Affairs. In recognition for their commitment and dedication, the U.S. flag was flown over the Capitol on their last day to honor him. We are honored to present Pat Sheehan with the George Card Award. Pat, would you like to come up, please?
And the plaque reads, George Card Award, presented to Pat Sheehan in recognition of his passionate commitment to pedestrian environment access, transportation, and other issues affecting the well-being of blind people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is quite an honor. Thank you, ACB Awards Committee, and all of you for believing in me and allowing me to serve you in ACB on all these committees. This isn't about me. It's really about all of you. You're great, and it's an honor to be able to serve you every day. Thank you so much.
This is our last one. All right, so the last award is the Durwood K. McDaniel Award, and this individual has had a career and served ACB for 50 years. This individual is also very involved in audio description and was the president of the World Blind Union, the North American and Caribbean. And this individual was also the first female president of ACB. And it is my honor to congratulate Kim Charleston.
Hello, this is Kim. Brian just handed me the phone and said, here's the phone. And I said, why are you giving me the phone? And he said, because you're about to get an award. I said, what? Well, thank you so much, ACB, and I wish I could be there. It's great to be able to listen. Thank you to community for all their great work, ACB Media. It's great. So thank you so very much, and I think all of you know I would be there if I could, but I do have good news to share that I got results back a couple days ago, and I am cancer-free. And thank you so much. And I'll be back soon, working ever so hard for all the important issues that ACB works on. Love you all. Thank you so very much for this tremendous honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you, Connie.
All right. Congratulations to all of those award winners. And you know, it's an honor to receive these awards. We recognize people who've done a lot of work because we all love this organization. We love each other and we love our mission. So, to go further, to present the Board of Publications Awards, all the way here from Worthington, Ohio, is our new secretary, Ms. Katie Frederick.
Right, I had to get on my walking shoes and walk in from Ohio. Everyone ready for roll call? Let's go. Alabama. All right. I'm wearing my BOP hat tonight, and it's a great pleasure that we have to present 3 awards this evening. Each year, the Board of Publications, amongst a few other things that we do, has the honor to present 3 awards to deserving individuals or organizations for excellence in writing. And as the Board of Publications, writing is pretty important to us. So tonight we are honored to present 3 awards: the Ned E. Freeman Award, the Vernon Henley Media Award, and the Hollis Liggett Braille Free Press Award. And to do this, I have my colleagues from the Board of Publications here with me this evening. And so I will turn it over to Belle Collins, who will present the Ned E. Freeman Award.
Right, good evening, everybody. All right, so as she mentioned, I am presenting the Ned E. Freeman Award. And this award, the Ned E. Freeman Award, is an Excellence in Writing Award. And it's presented to a recipient who not only demonstrates excellence in writing, but also in the novelty of approach and originality of the subject matter. An article must have been published between April of 2024 and March of 2025. And the recipient of this award has written several articles for our Braille Forum, and you've probably had the privilege of reading several of those articles. I certainly have, and the award, the article that they are getting the award for was actually entitled Peddling My Way to Fame and Misfortune. And this award is presented, it's my pleasure to present this award to Janet Parmenter. The plaque reads, the Ned E. Freeman Excellence in Writing Award presented to Janet Denola Parmenter for her article, Peddling My Way to Fame and Misfortune, which illustrates the adventures and perils of bicycling with low vision.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Board of Publications. Thank you so much. And I couldn't accept this award without thanking Microsoft and thanking ZoomText, now Freedom Scientific, because I don't know, many of you may know I'm a Bible teacher, but may not know that I'm an international tour escort, and I would bring bus groups of people from China to Russia, Middle East, and all of Europe. And on these trips, having a blind tour guide, you can imagine what it's like and the hilarious situations that happen. So when we would have long rides from Venice to Rome, 6 hours, I would tell stories of what happened in previous tour groups. And after the bus group hilariously finished laughing, they would say, you need to write your memoirs. And I would say, write? You want to see my list for tour guides, hotels, and restaurants? It was one typing sheet with one phone number, 110 point printed. What could I ever write? Then all of a sudden, at 49 years old, I went to the New Jersey School for Blind Adults, and I learned ZoomText and Microsoft Word. And I learned that they had a keyboard that was like the typewriter I had in high school. So I knew I could write these stories. I could really, for the first time in my life, put down my words on paper for others to enjoy. So Thank the Braille Forum for publishing my articles. Thank all of you for reading them. And I hope you have a laugh on me when you have a coffee in the morning. My first article that I got a check for was my talking crotch watch. Wait. It's what happened with my ski group when we left Switzerland and had 3 days in Belgium. Look it up. Or hopefully the Braille Forum will publish it and you'll all get a good laugh on me. And thank you, Microsoft Freedom Scientific and Board of Publications.
There we go. All right, this is so much fun. I love presenting awards. It's great. So we are not done. We have our next award, the Vernon Henley Media Award. And this is an award that is given to someone who portrays people who are blind or low vision in mainstream media in a positive way. But I don't know about you, but we certainly need more of that. Yes? That's right. So there we go. Okay, there's my microphone. This year, we are pleased to present the Vernon Henley Media Award to Lynn Chantel. She is an author originally from Flint, Michigan. She currently resides in Southwest Florida, and she is the president of the Southwest Florida Council of the Blind. She's published more than 30 titles, including her own press, the House of Lynn, LLC. She pitched a romance series to the Four Horsemen Publications, Inc., which features characters who are blind who own their own business. Pretty cool. This led to the Vive series, which features visually impaired or blind entrepreneurs. Lynn shares her lived experiences as someone who is blind for the study of her characters. So let's present it's my pleasure to present the Vernon Henley Media Award to Lynn Chantel, and she may be on Zoom.
If you could raise your hand, please, that would help me. Thank you very much, Lynn.
Is she there, Chanel? Can we do the plaque, Sharon?
And the award reads, Vernon Henley Media Award, presented to Chantal L. Napier in recognition of her pioneering Vibe series, Visually Impaired Blind Entrepreneurs, which positively portrays the abilities and the determination of individuals who are blind or visually impaired.
We do not have her raising her hand in Zoom. And if you could potentially up the volume so we can hear you a little better in Zoom, that would be wonderful.
Okay. All right. Congratulations, and we will get her plaque to her. And I will turn it over to Zelda to present our third award.
Good evening. It's my privilege to present the Hollis Liggett Braille Free Press Award. It provides the best journalism practices and excellence in writing. The mic's in the wrong place. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. In the publications from our affiliates. And so to get your award considered for this, to get your publication considered for this award, You must, it must be submitted by your president or by your editor. And it's my privilege to present this award to people you've seen get it before. They got it in 2020, and it's because they have a very excellent publication. It is just like none other. They have it in 6 different formats. I had to read about that. And they have a large group in their affiliate to provide it to. And as you can tell, when you do it in 6 different ways, you're meeting everyone's needs. It is my pleasure to present this award to the Washington Council of the Blind. And here to receive the award is Heather Mears and Reginald George, and they are co-editors of their publication, which is called Newsline, and they do a fantastic job. So come on up, guys.
Thank you, ACB. I have several people to thank, and I'm going to go slow because I don't want to mess this up. But thank you to our board of Washington Council of the Blind for making it possible for us to receive this here in person. It feels really good. And I've had such a great convention. Thank you to our readers and all of the people that write for us, because that's what makes it possible for us to do what we do. Thank you to our committee, because we have a fantastic group of people behind us that give us good advice. And I'm not going to try to list them because I'd probably forget someone, and I don't want to do that. Thank you to our partners for putting up with us and all the sleepless nights of putting this thing together every quarter. And the last thing I want to say is we are available on NLS on the BARD now. So check us out. A lot of our content is not just for Washington State. It's things that would be interesting to everyone nationally that is in the blindness movement. We try to give everyone a voice, and we're just gonna keep on doing what we do because we love it, and we love American Council of the Blind. And I'm gonna give this to my co-editor, Heather Mears. Thank you.
Well, can I say yee-haw? And thank y'all. So Janet, we did publish one of Janet's articles, the Talking Crouch one, so you can find that in the WC Newsline. So actually, I have 2 people that I want to thank. The first is Carl Jarvis, about 53 years ago, started our magazine. It wasn't a magazine at that point, but now it is. So I know he's smiling on us today. He got his angel today. The second is Denise Colley, who about 7 years ago said to Reg and I need you guys to take this over. We had no idea what we were doing, but she had faith in us and set us free to fly blind and take on this journey. So I know both of them are looking down on us today. Thank you.
Hollis Liggett Braille Free Press Award, presented to Washington Council of the Blind in recognition of affiliate newsletter excellence.
Thank you. Oh my
All right. Congratulations to the BOP winners. So this next presenter, we sort of had to create something because, we couldn't do the Braille Forum raffle anymore. What a sad day. But that doesn't stop this man from working for ACB. He serves on the MMS committee, and I know you've heard Dan and myself and others and David talk about the MMS program. And so we wanted to honor some people who have been long-term contributors. And we thought of no better person to do that than Alan Peterson.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, David. It's my pleasure to do this, but I am a sad man because I enjoyed selling these Braille Forum raffle tickets. So many of you are have a wallet that's a little bit heavier because $50 or $100 or even some multiple of 50. But anyway, it's on behalf of the MMS committee, excuse me. Anyway, there's for being a part of MS for more than 5 years. The first prize goes to Jim Jarrett, $250. And I know Jim won the $5,000 prize a few years ago for the Braille Forum. And for the second prize, for 5 years or more, it's Sheila Derek, okay, Derek, yes. Very good. Okay. And for being a part of MMS for more than 3 years, first prize goes to Ann Brash for $150. And second prize goes to Abby Vincent for $75. Yeah. And as you know, MMS is a very important way of funding ACB, and Dan and Michael have been promoting that here at the convention. We would hope that you would consider being a part of MMS. So with that, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity.
We have a special presentation or presentations right now, and I'm going to call on our president, Deb Cook-Lewis, and Nancy Becker to present some life memberships.
All these tall people, we have to get this back down here. So it's a tough act to follow all those fabulous awards. But I'm up for it, and we're going to do a life membership tonight. And this person is very special to all of us and someone who has served ACB for many, many years. This life membership is being awarded by the Mountain State Council of the Blind to Donna Brown. She'll be beginning her stage career this evening. And yeah, run. Come on, Don. You can run. You did good. You did good. I'm here. All right. Well, I don't know what to say. That is a total surprise. Thank you, guys. There are a few here still from West Virginia. Wow. I'm speechless. I really am. Thank you so much. ACB has meant a lot to me, and Mountain State Council has as well. Whew. Oh, thank you.
Thank you for all of the awards, and thank you for all of the recognition of the hard work that all the members have done. So now we're at the point in our program for our speaker for this evening. He's none other than Dave Williams. So let me tell you a little bit about Dave. Let's see. I hope I can get through this. My fingers are a little sticky, so we'll see if we can. Dave Williams is an experienced specialist in accessible technology, media relations, and inclusive design. For 25 years, Dave has worked to advance the accessibility for blind and low vision individuals. His professional background spans audio production, communication media, agile design, and digital product testing, complemented by his lived experiences as a blind parent, international marathon runner, and award-winning volunteer. During his tenure at RNIB's inclusive design, RNIB's inclusive design ambassador, Dave spearheaded impactful initiatives that championed Braille and tactile literacy, independence, and inclusion. Highlights include leading the Braille 200 celebrations across the UK, hosting 150 episodes of Tech Talk on RNIB Connect Radio, including a memorable interview with Stevie Wonder, and collaborating with Netflix to raise awareness of audio description. He partnered with Canon on the world's unseen tactile photography exhibition, and with Sony Europe to spread accessibility initiatives such as tactile cues on product packaging. And Dave has represented the UK on the board of DAISY Consortium and is an active member of the European Blind Union Braille Working Group. Dave was recently named University College London's Community Tutor of the Year for his inclusive communication workshops for medical students. In 2023, he received a Point of Light Award from the UK Prime Minister for work with the Brailleist Foundation, spreading Braille and tactile literacy. A keen runner, in 2025, Dave was inducted into the Abbott World Marathon Majors 6-star Hall of Fame, completing marathons in New York City, London, Boston, Berlin, Chicago, and Tokyo. And he happens to have his Tokyo medal with him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Williams.
Good evening, ACB, Madam President, friends, advocates, everyone here and online. Thank you for your hospitality. I'm grateful for your invitation to share in ACB's big dreams and bold ideas. Not only this week here in Dallas, but over many decades in many places far beyond these shores. It is a huge privilege to stand before you tonight as someone whose life has been profoundly shaped by this movement. Let me begin with a deeply personal truth. For a long time, I resented my blindness, and like many, I struggled to accept blindness as part of my identity. But it was through you that I learned to think differently, to dream boldly, and to act decisively. That shift in perspective changed everything for me, and that's why I'm here tonight, to celebrate what is possible when we accept our identity and bring about that change in others. Our blindness stories break down barriers, build bridges. They turn isolation into community, fear into action, and doubt into confidence. Together, I believe that we can ignite that transformation in others. When I talk about blind people, I intend blind in the broadest sense. Whether you identify as blind, low vision, visually impaired, we all are valued in this community, and our voices carry equal importance. And if you are sighted and you're someone who elevates the voices of blind people, we thank you for your solidarity. Before I share how it was you in this movement who taught this Northern English lad to think and feel differently about my blindness, becoming a passionate Braille advocate and 6-star Marathon World Majors finisher, I must extend my gratitude to our friends at DOT, whose support means I can be with you tonight. I know that many of you this week took the opportunity to get hands-on with the DotPad X, a highly versatile multi-line Braille and tactile display portable enough to fit inside a school bag. DOT's technology is disrupting the Braille display industry, And using a dot pad and the dot canvas app, I was recently able to support my sighted 16-year-old with his math revision, and I was able to get to touch his signature for the very first time. DOT and partners like APH and Humanware are developing the next generation of educational and employment opportunities that we could only dream of just a few years ago. Now, where are you, first-timers? Do we have any first-timers here? My first convention was in Birmingham, Alabama. And I can tell you that your Birmingham in July is a bit warmer than my Birmingham near my home in England. We simply do not have anything like these conventions in the UK. And, well, I jumped in at the deep end with you guys. It was an eventful year. General session ran on to an extra day, if anybody remembers that. And, of course, as director of ACB Radio, I was responsible for making sure that ACB's membership and our listeners tuned in offices and homes in countless countries could hear our coverage. And while we were very well looked after by our friends in ACB's Alabama affiliate, where are you, Alabama? Yeah. Our internet connectivity at convention that year was especially problematic. And it seemed to get even more challenging during the liveliest of debates. And look, I want to make it very clear that my purpose then, as it is now, is to empower as many blind people as possible by ensuring our access to the information, tools, and skills that we need to live our best lives. A year before Birmingham, ACB Radio's founder and mentor to many of us decided that it was time for him to move on, and I took the call. My predecessor, Jonathan Mosen, would be an impossible act for anyone to follow, but he believed in me. And long before ACB Radio, as a young man, well, I'd avoided the tools and skills that could have empowered me. I resisted the cane. I dismissed Braille. I thought that these skills marked me as different in a way that I wasn't ready to accept. I mistakenly believed that specialist skills separated me from society. These days, we would say othering. And so I cast those things aside for a very long time. It took me years to recognize that actually confidence can come from a cane or a guide dog, and enjoying the bedtime story with our kids can come from Braille. The voices I heard on ACB Radio via my dial-up modem, anyone remember them? Leaders, people like Marlena Lieberg, and Paul Edwards. They challenged me to rethink what it meant to be blind. They taught me that tools like Braille and a white cane do not separate us from other people. They actually connect us to the people and the world around us. Their advocacy lifted me up, and I realized that I had a chance to be part of something much bigger. And so, when I took on the role as ACB Radio director, I was terrified. Could a young lad from a small town in northern England really lead an initiative that was connecting blind people across the globe? But I said yes. Why? Because this movement showed me the power of taking risks, and because I knew that by sharing our stories, we could empower others to do the same. One of my first tasks as ACB radio director was to convince Marlena to start a new talk show. She was so humble, and she asked me, what if nobody listens, and what would we even call it? I told her that I was sure that everyone would listen, and we would call the show Marlena. And like many of you, I miss her lots, and I think of her often. I also knew that Paul Edwards was a natural broadcaster and must have his own show. He teamed up with Brian Charlson, and Tuesday Topics was born. You certainly kept me busy. When I wasn't producing audio or seeking sponsorship, my email and phone rang 24/7. If it wasn't a server in California needing another reboot, it was listeners frustrated that they'd missed out on the latest episode of Main Menu, Blind Handyman, or Cooking in the Dark, and would I please send it to them? So I managed to persuade our small team of volunteer software developers to build us a Listen Again on demand service, which was kind of like an early form of podcasting. ACB Radio didn't just stream content, it brought blind people together online long before Zoom calls and virtual conventions became the norm. We created opportunities for storytelling, advocacy, and community that spanned continents. From broadcasting ACB conventions to global events like the World Blind Union General Assembly from South Africa, we ensured that the voices of blind people could be heard. The impact did not stop there. ACB Radio became a launchpad for careers, a platform for innovation, and a catalyst for change. It inspired similar initiatives worldwide. It proved that when blind people lead, we can redefine what is possible. That legacy continues today through ACB Media, and its ripple effects are felt in every corner of our community. We will never know how many blind lives have been touched by this priceless service. Let's hear it for ACB Media. When it was my turn to pass on the ACB Radio baton, it was to join a team that was working on one of the first mobile screen readers with touchscreen support. Talks, Mobile Speak, and Pocket HAL pioneered many of the concepts that we now take for granted in VoiceOver on iPhone and TalkBack on Android. Following the early success of ACB Radio, blind people in many nations started their own online radio stations. In 2003, the Royal National Institute of the Blind in the United Kingdom launched Europe's first station for the blind community, now known as RNIB Connect Radio. I worked for the RNIB for 6 years as their inclusive design ambassador, and we partnered with companies like Canon, Netflix, and Sony to advance their accessibility initiatives. My ACB radio experience meant that I was invited to host over 150 episodes of RNIB's flagship technology show, Tech Talk. We were recognized by the UK radio industry as Community Station of the Year in 2024. As well as interviewing many movers and shakers in the technology world, including accessibility leaders from Microsoft and Google, as you heard, I had the incredible honor in March 2024 of recording a short interview with the legendary singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder. As we were introduced, I recalled the awe with which Marlena had interviewed her hero, Ronnie Milsap, years earlier. Marlena taught me that, you know what, it's okay to feel that childlike excitement even during the moments that define our careers. After shaking Stevie's hand, I asked if he would be willing to share some messages about accessibility and inclusion with our blind brothers and sisters in the UK. I held my breath. He said, "Let's do that now." I began recording. He asked about my recording equipment, and he playfully imitated my English accent. You should hear his Bob Dylan. Yeah. As we were talking, we were forced to move due to being jostled by the crowd. And before I could grab my cane, Stevie took my arm in his and proceeded to walk us both forward. Hold the phone. I'm now being sighted guided by Stevie Wonder. He said, "Don't worry about it, Dave. In a moment, I'm going to walk us both into a wall." My other lasting memory of that moment, in the interview, Stevie said that I could not enjoy the career that I have were it not for Braille. He talked about how he uses Braille to write and edit his many songs, and how he has an ambition to publish his catalogue in Braille for blind musicians to study. Stevie is not alone. We can all think of high-profile blind people who would link their success to an ability to read Braille. Leading journalists like Gary O'Donoghue, and educators and lawyers and politicians holding high office would all identify Braille as being key in getting the job done. And as for many of you, spreading Braille and tactile literacy is a subject very close to my heart. Every day, I continue to be amazed how combinations of just 6 little dots fitting neatly under our fingerprints represent every letter of the alphabet, numbers, punctuation, math, music, and other symbols, providing access to any subject in any language. Incidentally, 6 is also the number of big city marathons that you have to run to complete the Abbott World Marathon Majors series, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. Braille's invention meant that for the first time, blind people could independently write and read our own stories, find our own voices, become educated and employed, label household items, read our own greetings cards, identify medication, the list goes on. And that whether you read Braille or not, I think we can all recognize how Braille is deeply linked with the emancipation of blind people. And let us not forget of the many tactile reading systems developed in the 19th century, and there were many. You had your War of the Dots, we had our Battle of the Types. It was no accident that the system that ultimately prevailed was developed by a young person who knew exactly what we needed because he was blind. Braille is a very early example of that modern disability mantra, nothing about us without us. Blind people around the world have been celebrating 200 years since Braille's invention. I've been communicating Braille's value in national print and broadcast media, meeting hundreds of Braille ambassadors at libraries across the UK, and on the 4th of January this year, I think that's January the 4th over here, the Braillists Foundation we delivered the UK's very first face-to-face World Braille Day conference. Now, I recognise that in the US, Brailleist usually means somebody who is a Braille producer, but in the UK, it refers to any blind person who relies on Braille. We formally established the Brailleist Foundation in early 2020 to promote Braille and tactile literacy. Our aims were to promote the value of Braille as a proven literacy tool that enriches the lives of blind people, support efforts to make Braille and tactile reading technology more available to all blind people regardless of education and employment status, and to provide an open forum for the exchange of ideas about the development of future Braille technology. And when social distancing forced everyone online, we began offering classes to introduce Braille to beginners, supportive reading groups for practicing Braille skills, drop-in sessions where you could get Braille-related questions asked and answered, and masterclasses covering more advanced topics. The work of the Brailleist Foundation was also recognised here in the United States by your National Braille Press Touch of Genius Prize for Innovation. We received the UK Prime Minister's Point of Light Award, and in May this year, I had the honour to accept an invitation to a royal garden party celebrating skills and learning at Buckingham Palace. You are invited to join the international community celebrating Braille 200 for the rest of this year. The European Blind Union Braille Working Group are encouraging everyone to share creative expressions celebrating Braille, and you can learn more about that on their website at livingbraille.eu. You can also follow the hashtag Braille200 on your social media. It's not too late to organise your own Braille 200 event. And of course, you can elevate the voices of Braille readers by connecting with your very own Braille Revival League. Yeah. I also invite you to tune in to my new podcast, Raising the Dots, that will connect listeners with the people and innovations and technology that are reshaping the world of Braille and tactile literacy. And don't forget, next year, 2026, APH will be opening the DOT experience in Louisville. Is it Louisville? I'm going to do it right. Yeah. To celebrate Braille's rich heritage. Braille's profoundly personal connection cannot be underestimated. Braille enabled me to write a proposal of marriage on a Braille Scrabble board. I waited, heart pounding, while my girlfriend rummaged in the bag to find some letters to compose her answer. During which time I realised I'd used both letter Y's in the question. She wrote blank ES. Next week, we'll be celebrating our 14th wedding anniversary. I was also deeply moved shortly after crossing the finish line at the Tokyo Marathon in March this year to discover Braille featured on the finisher medal. I had run an exceptionally long way to get to that point, and reading that Braille for myself, rather than having to ask a sighted person to read it to me, well, that felt like inclusion. Yeah. In the running community, completing the much sought-after Abbott World Marathon Majors series is some journey. Blind since birth with Leber's congenital amaurosis, I never really saw myself as a runner. And in fact, 7 years ago, I weighed over 220 pounds and couldn't run a bath. I did have a vague idea that I might be able to get a guide runner and convert them into a pilot for my tandem bike that was gathering dust in my garage. And so, with that in mind, I signed up for England Athletics Find a Guide database, which is a bit like your United in Stride. I soon met Steve and later Bex, my first real guide runners, who, it turned out, had absolutely no interest in piloting a tandem. But they did get me running. And what started off as lots of puffing and puffing to just about reach a mile turned into weekly runs and a community of support. I'd hated physical education at school, ill-fitting kit and smelly changing rooms and PE teachers. And during those early attempts at something you couldn't really describe as running, I thought about a blind lady that I knew with asthma who had recently completed a marathon. I was also reminded of Eric Wagmeyer, the first blind person to summit Mount Everest, also interviewed by Marlena, obviously. Just exactly what was my excuse? I decided that I was going to get fit and set an example for my 10-year-old son, Arlo. And with lots of encouragement, especially from other blind runners sharing their stories, I dragged myself from couch to 5K, which is just over 3 miles. While no guide runner seeks recognition for themselves, they are fantastic people, by the way, some blind runners told me how they wanted their guide runners to appear in results and officially receive a finisher medal at the London Marathon. Oh, somebody's bedtime. It was the advocacy skills that I learned from this movement that enabled me to support that campaign by producing an audio package for BBC Radio. Our combined efforts meant London Marathon changed their policy. In my excitement about this small win for guided running, I returned home from the pub one night and went online because, of course, alcohol and the internet are always a winning combination, right? I found myself filling in a ballot entry form for a place in the New York City Marathon. What was I thinking? I'd barely run 6 miles at this point, and here I was entering a lottery to run 26.2 miles, not to mention the thousands of miles that you need to run in months and months of training. Surely I would not get a place. I would not need to tell anyone, right? Wrong. Dear Mr. Williams, the email read, congratulations, you have a place in the 2019 New York City Marathon. This had to be some kind of joke. I checked my bank. Oh, shoot. New York Roadrunners had taken $270, and now I would have to tell my wife. I had 9 months to train, and the more I thought about it, the more I really did want to show my 10-year-old son that, you know what, as blind dads, we can do things. Yeah? So through the summer, I ran up and down the hills in Worcestershire to prepare myself for the 5 massive bridges that you must cross in the New York City Marathon. Verrazano Narrows, Pulaski, Queensboro, Willis Avenue, and Madison Avenue. I was doing my homework, guys. I even joined a gym. And it was a beautiful autumnal morning at Fort Wadsworth on Staten Island as I lined up with 53,000 other runners to take on my first marathon. Helicopters hovered overhead and cannons blasted as earlier waves set out. Nobody more surprised than me to be a part of it. Of course, Sinatra's New York, New York and Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind were on high rotation. And of course, New York would be the first of 6 starts that also included London, Boston, Berlin, Chicago, and Tokyo. 6 big city marathons that have come together to make the classic Abbott World Marathon Major Series. And these big city marathons, they're like 26.2 mile street parties. The atmosphere is electric. You really feel the heartbeat of a city when the crowd turns out in force. Complete strangers yell your name to urge you on. And not only do you get to feel just a little bit like a rock star, you also share the road on the same day with the best athletes in the world. First Avenue in New York City and Tower Bridge in London were extremely loud, and the shrill, piercing screams of those Wellesley students in the Boston Marathon put me in mind of Beatlemania. And I need to channel that energy, especially when the running gets tough, as it always does. When the course is hilly and the weather is hot, I can find myself contemplating my life choices. There have been many times when I've had to gulp down buckets of Gatorade and walk for a while. Ultimately, though, drawing on that positive energy from all those people willing me to the finish and the power of the marathon to bring people together is replenishing. Some of these cities have deeply divided histories, but they come together to support the runners. Your life, your marathon, has the power to bridge division. It is that sense of hope that drives me on through the exhaustion, running to the finish line every time. A special shout out to Chicago, London, and Tokyo, who gave me a marathon finishers medal that featured Braille. Berlin, Boston, New York, you can do this too. And it's not over. I thought I was finished, but in 2024, Abbott announced that the Majors series, after 20 years, is going to be extended to include a 7th, 8th, and 9th star. So next month, I'm heading to Sydney. If you have ever taken a risk, bitten off a little bit more than you could chew, or felt like an imposter, maybe found yourself winging it just a bit, you're among friends. I certainly feel a little bit like that every time I go for a run or stand up to deliver a talk like this one. As blind people, we know we must push through boundaries and take a chance. None of us got here by always taking the easy path. While I live thousands of miles away, we are connected by a shared history. And some of that history is in People of Vision, ACB's story, a copy of which I have at home. Braille is also part of our shared history. Braille is a tool of liberation. It has empowered generations of blind leaders, yet we all know that Braille literacy is not where it needs to be. Too many blind children and adults lack access to the most basic tools that they need to thrive. This is a call to action for all of us. If we believe in independence and in dignity and in opportunity, then we must invest in Braille. We must champion its teaching, ensure its availability, and celebrate its value as a cornerstone of blind empowerment. Let us dream bigger. Today, blind people are excelling in fields that were once thought inaccessible. Technology, the arts, business, politics, and sport. But there's so much more to achieve. Imagine a world where every blind child has access to quality education, where the workplace is universally inclusive, and where we lead not as exceptions, but as examples. Technology, of course, is a critical piece of this puzzle, but innovation is not enough. We must advocate for systemic changes. We require policies that prioritize accessibility in every industry. We must have blind leaders at the decision-making table, shaping the future of inclusion. And we need allies, sighted people who amplify our voices, speaking with us, not for us. Tonight, thank you. Tonight, I challenge each and every one of you. How will you contribute to this movement? Will you mentor a blind youth, helping them realize their potential? Will you advocate for better policies in your communities? Or will you share your story, inspiring someone else to embrace their blindness as a source of strength? Whatever it is, do it boldly. Do it with the knowledge that your actions ripple outwards, creating change far beyond this room. And at the same time, let us remember the power of collaboration. ACB, RNIB, Brailleist Foundation, together we are stronger. Let us share strategies, pool resources, and align our goals to create a global network of advocacy. The challenges we face are too big for any one organisation to tackle alone. But united, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As I stand here tonight, I am reminded of a simple truth that has guided me throughout my journey. Our stories change lives, whether it is a marathon medal, Braille book, or even a conversation with a stranger. Every story that we share has the potential to chip away at prejudice and build a more inclusive world. So thank you, ACB, for teaching me to think differently about my blindness. Thank you for showing me what is possible when we embrace our identities and lift each other up. Let us keep running toward inclusion, toward equality, and toward a future where every blind person has the tools and opportunities we need to live our best lives.
Very inspiring, very inspirational, especially completing those 6 marathons. You know, I used to run a little bit. Scott and I were talking, and we said that maybe we could match our steps, and maybe we could come up with a marathon between the two of us. Yeah, we could get enough steps together. But anyway, Hey, have you guys heard that story about the guy who had never been to Texas before? You know, they talk about things being big in Texas. He'd never been to an ACB convention in Texas. He came from a very small town. And he got to the hotel, and they showed him, he ordered a king room. He felt the bed, and he said, wow, that's big. Wow, what a. So he said, well, I'm thirsty. I need a drink. So he found his way down to the bar, and he got a big drink. And he felt that drink, and he said, my goodness, that's big. Well, he drank the whole thing. He was very thirsty. Well, you know what happens, Dad. He said, hey, I need to use the restroom. Said, well, you go down the hall to the second door and turn right. Well, he missed that door. He went to the third door. And he found himself falling in the swimming pool, and while he was flailing, he says, don't flush, don't flush. Anyway, so now for some more fun. Let's bring on our convention coordinator, Ms. Janet Dickerman.
All right. Oh, yeah, I have to move this down also. All right. Well, guess what we're going to do? Oh, first of all, I would like to, actually, Nancy Christine or Nancy Becker, could one of you come up here, because I want to get a really good description of what we have on our table this evening, which are our banquet favors that, and I know what they are, but I do not recall exactly what their color is or how they're configured, so I'm going to ask one of the Nancys to come up and do a quick description. But while I'm waiting for a Nancy, I'm going to do a few door prizes. So when a Nancy gets here, let me know. All right, door prizes. And I'm also, before I do that, I have to take a moment of privilege and apologize profusely to the awards committee, because I feel like I kind of goofed up letting Cecily sneak out of here, because when she said she wasn't going to be here, it didn't dawn on me. I totally forgot she was getting an award tonight until Connie started reading it, and then I thought, oh boy, what have I done? Anyway, we have some door prizes, and the first one goes to Pam Springer, who is a virtual attendee, and she gets $25 from Mountain State. I'm glad we got that Mountain State money before they gave the life membership to Donna. All right, we also have another virtual member, and it's appropriate he gets it, because since we collaborated with BVA this year, and this goes to David Dowling, and he gets $25 from Arizona Council of the Blind. Sherry Rogers, another virtual, we're kind of on a virtual path here, I guess, but we'll get off that in a minute. Sherry Rogers gets $25, also from Mountain State, so thank you. Oh boy, this is a name I hesitate to call. $25 from Florida Council of the Blind goes to our AV guru, Rick Morin. Now, I mentioned that I had some really amazing door prizes, and I have two of them. And when these came over to us, I thought, these aren't really door prizes. These are something, we need to find a better way to give these out. And the company that donated them said, no, we want them to go as a door prize. So I have count them, two laptop computers from Computers for the Blind. And I think this is a wonderful door prize. I wanted my name on one of them, but unfortunately, didn't work out that way. The first one goes to, and I know he's a student, Aaron Espinosa. And the other one goes to someone who I know is not a student, but Mr. Adam Ruschival. And that, everyone, concludes our door prizes. And do we have a Nancy up here? Okay. Go, Nancy.
I'm not a good describer on these, but the thought behind this favor was Vanda Pharmaceutical always did what in the exhibit hall?
Ice cream bars.
So we thought ice cream scoops would be so appropriate, but they didn't have any this year. So anyhow, you guys all have a ice cream scoop, and the part where you're scooping the ice cream out is a clear plastic, and then the handle is you either have a red, a white, or blue handle, and it says Vanda Pharmaceuticals on it. I tried to get the Banquet people to give us some Ben & Jerry's ice cream tonight, but that didn't. They didn't seem to want to do that, you know.
In fact, our convention services person came over to me today and said, the staff is really concerned because they're putting out all these ice cream scoops, and are they supposed to be scooping ice cream? What's going on? You didn't order ice cream. Anyway, thank you very, very much. Hope you had a wonderful convention. I'm going to turn this over to final words from our MC, Mr. Garrett. Who will have to raise the microphone.
So when I was in Oregon, I introduced the Oregon affiliate to Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred and his nephews Ned and Ted. And they like to ask questions about life and all that stuff. And so they asked Uncle Fred, how do blind people see? And, Uncle Fred, he has a lot of wisdom, and that one took him off guard. But he came up with something, and he said, some blind people, they see better with no eyes than people with two. So, in closing tonight, folks, I just want to say that this has been a culmination of a wonderful convention. This is 2025. I hope to see all of you next year, and bring somebody with you in St. Louis, 2026. May God bless you. Go home, have safe travels, and we will see you next year.
A logo, ACB in print and braille, American Council of the Blind, together for a bright future.